Hello and welcome to this edition of Season Preview on Amateur Sports TV. I'm your host, Graeme Forsyth, and in today's edition of Season Preview on Coffee with Graeme, we take our final look at the Winnipeg Avros heading into the 2020-2021 MFHL season. And in our first two episodes, we had a chance to speak to three great individuals up until this point. In our first episode, we spoke to Avros head coach Ashley Van Aggelen, and in our second episode, and it was last week's episode, we had a chance to speak to Trinity Grove, who is the team captain, and Courtney Bays, a second-year player and an assistant captain for the Avros as well. But in today's edition of Season Preview, the Avros finale, we welcome in a defenseman from the team, number 4 Rachel Gottfried, and Rachel was phenomenal for the Avros last year. She won the Avros Top Defenseman Award. She was the team's leader in assists in regular season and in tournaments with 26, and she also led all defensemen in scoring on the team in regular season and tournament play combined with 34 points. Today, I had a chance to speak to Rachel about what her career looked like before joining the Avros, what her 2019-2020 campaign was like, and what she expects going into this season as well for the Avros, and what she expects for her team and how they're going to do as well this season. And Rachel also committed to the University of Manitoba this season. She will be a Bison in 2021-2022, and I also had the chance to speak to Rachel about that on today's edition of Season Preview, the Winnipeg Avros finale. Rachel, thank you so much for joining us today on this Saturday afternoon. It's after 4:15 here today. This interview is going to air on Thursday morning, 10:30 a.m. all across the Amateur Sports TV network. But it's awesome to have you on the show. How are you doing today on this? I guess it's pretty nice out on this fine, beautiful day in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm good, and it's going to be awesome to get to talk some hockey with you, get to talk about your career so far in hockey, and as well as a little bit of exciting news this offseason was getting that commitment to the University of Manitoba Bisons women's hockey team, committing to the U of M for the 2021-2022 season. So, Rachel, congratulations on committing to the University of Manitoba. I know it's always exciting for a player in the minor hockey or minor sports or wherever they play to commit to a university career, but how excited are you to be able to get that opportunity to commit with a university such as the University of Manitoba?
I am very excited and looking forward to next year to play with them. I'm fortunate that I have a lot of close friends in the team that I played with 2 years ago, and just to play for my hometown is just awesome. So yeah, very fortunate.
That's great. And would you say that it being in your hometown, the University of Manitoba, being here in Winnipeg, is one of the biggest reasons why you decided to commit to the University of Manitoba?
Yes, that's one of the main reasons, and also I'm a homebody, so I just thought I got the opportunity, so I took it. So yeah.
Awesome. And were there any other universities that were on the table that wanted you to commit, or was University of Manitoba the only one that was, calling you, not calling you, but, wanting you to sign with them, or were there a number of colleges that wanted you to sign with them?
I was talking to a few, yes. I was talking to York, Windsor, and the St. Mary's Huskies in Halifax, but overall they're all great teams, and they all I've met some of the players there. They all seem very nice, but just overall, just playing for my hometown and just staying at home is a factor for me. So
Yeah, for sure. And it's obviously so nice to not only have a chance to further your career in hockey, but as well as being able to do it in your hometown, which is awesome. You get to stay close to home and play hockey as well at the college level. To me and to you, obviously, there's nothing better than that, the sounds of that. And just talking about how quarantine has, the COVID-19 pandemic hitting has been such a blow to not only athletes not being able to train in gyms, but just the whole world. And it put the whole world on standstill pretty much with the COVID-19 virus hitting. But with quarantine, gyms obviously haven't been able to, be open in the early parts of the off season. I know that there's been gyms that have opened, but I'm sure that you've put in a lot of work this off season without going to the gym. So how different has that been?
It's been a little different, but I've tried to adapt because obviously I don't have all the machines they have at the gyms at home. But I'm fortunate that I do have like a bench press, a treadmill, some weights, so I can keep up with my training for hockey when others can't.
Awesome. And has there been a part of your training this off season that you've really taken a focus to? Because, I had a chance to talk to Ashley in the first edition of season preview, and she said that you're pretty much the complete package, but she said that your speed was one of the things in your game that's underrated maybe, but it's still something that's come a long way throughout the season. So last year. So has speed been a big focus of your training this off season?
Yes, I tried to focus. That was my main one I tried to focus on. And because I couldn't go to the gym throughout the beginning of quarantine, I just skipped rope at home, ladder, treadmill, whether or not I would be running for half an hour on it at a average speed or um, going like sprinting on it for a minute, like a shift at relating to a hockey game to help with my speed. But I also try to not just focus on one because I do have like my speed is probably like personally for me is my biggest weakness, but I still try to focus on my other weaknesses too because just to be an overall better hockey player.
Right. And it's awesome that, you've taken the steps to replicate what a shift would be on ice by running on the treadmill for, a minute. I think that's awesome. Replicating the stuff on ice, it's something that, it's a bit harder to replicate off ice, but you've been able to find a way to do that. And that's awesome, Rachel. And have you been able to work on any of your puck skills at all off ice? I know that Courtney and Trinity were saying that they have spaces at home. I think both of them said it. I know that Trinity said it, but she said that she has a space in her backyard where she can work on her puck handling and her shooting. Have you been able to do that at all this off season?
Yes, I do. I have a net in my backyard, and I can also stick handle downstairs just with a biscuit or a tennis ball or any type of ball just to keep up my stick handling skills and my shot.
Great. And have you been able to have a chance before even playing with the Avros to get on the ice and go into any skill camps at all before the team was made and you guys were in the full swing of practices? Were you able to do that in the off season at all?
I was not in any camps, but I every Wednesday I went in my high school ran it, and it was just a workout every Wednesday, and then every day off of that, I have I can motivate myself. Some people need personal trainers, but I can motivate myself to push myself to work hard at home. So
Yeah.
every day I worked out at home, or like throughout when gyms started opening, then I started going to gyms too.
Awesome. Awesome. And I think that's cool that you say that it's easy for you to motivate yourself. And I think for a lot of athletes, it's, they have trouble. A lot of people that work out have trouble trying to motivate themselves and stay self-disciplined, and having that trainer or someone to train with is a big factor in them, getting those same results at home when they haven't been able to have a gym. So would you say that your ability to motivate yourself has been one of the biggest factors in why it's helped you be able to stay committed this off season?
Yes, for sure. It's yeah, it has been. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're going to move away from that. We're going to talk about the Avros after we talk about your career before the Avros, because, you've had a chance to represent Team Manitoba at the Manitoba Winter Games, winning a gold medal. We're going to get into that. But also your career with the Titans in the Bantam AA League in 2016, being able to win a city championship. Just take me back to the time with the Titans and the memories you built there with that team.
That was a long time ago. Titans. Yes. We were every year. Being the younger one or being the older one, we were pretty strong. I believe we always made it into city finals or provincial finals, but we didn't always pull through. We only pulled through the 1 year, but we all had the motivation on the team and the dedication to push, but we didn't pull through for the 3 years that I was there, but we all had the motivation to go there, so it was pretty good. It was pretty good 4 years at Titans.
Great. So you didn't win a city championship with them.
In 2017, I won the city champion with Titans.
Okay. Yeah. And then, being able to win a city championship, obviously it's something that everyone dreams of. Excuse me, I hiccuped a bit there, but it's something that every athlete dreams of winning any championship at any level. And for you to do it on a team like the Titans, that's awesome, because like you said, there were so many years with that team where you guys were a good team, but you guys weren't able to quite make it over that hump. So it's awesome that you're finally able to do that. Do you remember your role on your team? Could you describe what kind of role you played on that team? Were you a defenseman that played the big minutes back then, or were you a defenseman that kind of played in a role position?
At the very my first year of Titans, I was more of a stay back defenseman, but the second year they put me as forward 1 game, and they started liking me playing up forward, so they would move me back and forth, and I would play power play as defense a lot of the time, and I'd play forward in defense, which really helped out because my original position is defense, but being able to play that forward position really helps you as an overall player because you get to see both perspectives of the position. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you'd say that's really helped you going forward in your career, because I remember talking to Ashley about it, and she said that you were a really good swing player out there, which meant like she could change you from forward to defenseman. So back then, being able to do it at such an early stage of your career, I'm sure that that's benefited you throughout your career and up until this point in your career as well.
Yes, for sure. Yes, it has.
Awesome. And so being able in 2017 and 18 to make the Bantam AA All-Star games, you know, another accomplishment that a lot of people and a lot of athletes dream of is making it to an all-star game, because it really rewards you for your hard work. So being able to make it not only 1 year but 2 years in a row at the bantam level, I'm sure that it boosted your confidence quite a bit, being able to make it to the all-star game back-to-back years.
Yes, it did, and it also helped me as an overall player too, because most of the girls who made the teams were the top players on their teams. So just helping me, just playing against those, just even if it was for 1 game, just playing against those top players just made me a better player. And it was just, it was an honor to make it on the All-Star team as well.
That's awesome. And obviously, there's a lot of uh, successes in your game that goes into making it not only in that 1 year, but in those back to back years, 2 years in a row. So, moving into your high school career, and you also had a chance to play at the high school level throughout the 2017-18 season with College Sturgeon Heights, the hockey team there, the Huskies, and you became an assistant captain in grade 9. So, being at such a young age playing in a league where there's not only players that might be your age, but players in grade 10, grade 11, grade 12, and you're able to be an assistant captain on that team as a grade 9. How were you able to handle that responsibility at such a young age?
Well, first of all, I think they chose me because we had such a young group of girls coming up my age that half the team was grade nines. So it was easier if they had a younger leader to lead the grade nine half and also the older half too as well because there was so many younger girls coming onto the team.
Yeah.
And so yeah, at a young age, it was difficult to at first it was a little bit difficult to adjust, but it helps me in the future and as a leader for like present today, it's helped me for since grade 9, since the beginning. It's helped me just to be a better person I am today.
Great. So getting that leadership so early on has helped you kind of develop a lot of aspects in your game that's made you a better leader in the game today, which is awesome to hear. And it developed your leadership ability from an early age. And would you say that those learning experiences that you had so early on in your career, you're an assistant captain for the Avros this year, do you think that you can take away from those learning experiences from so early on and really use them to your advantage this year as an assistant captain on the Avros?
Yes, for sure. It has helped me being assistant in grade 9 for the Sturgeon Heights Huskies. It has helped me just be more confident and just help out my teammates. And yeah, overall, it's just helped me become more confident person at a young age, starting at a young age.
Awesome. And when you're able to get so much confidence at such a young age, that's so beneficial for not only the success you have on the ice, but the development going forward in your career as well. And then just moving on from the Huskies with your time with like high school teams, you had a chance to play on the St. Mary's Academy prep hockey team in 2018 and 19. And obviously the prep level of hockey, I'm sure, is quite different from the normal high school level. I'm sure it is, but what was the decision to take your talents there at the time in that point in your career?
Well, I it's a good I chose to go there because we like in that league you travel a lot, so it's very it's easier to be noticed by scouts for universities because you're traveling to BC to all those different places, so it's easier for scouts to come see you there rather than they're all coming to Winnipeg. So it's easy to get scouted in that league because of where we play out of.
Nice. So you really made the decision to not wait for the scouts to come to you, but go to where the scouts were.
Yes.
What was it like playing in a prep league? Because you're traveling so much, you're playing all these different teams from, not only in Canada, but in the States as well. How was that like playing teams, getting to know their styles as well throughout that year?
It was very I wasn't expecting it going into it. The States, their style of hockey is very hard to play against. They're pretty good teams, but I think for comparing St. Mary's their league to my AAA league, to be honest, there's not much of a difference except for playing against POE. When I was on St. Mary's, they were a very very good team and hard to play against, but the better the team, the harder and the more like we want to win. So it is pretty. It's not that much of a difference other than playing against POE, but yeah, their style is different compared to how we play here, so we just have to adapt to that as a team. And yeah.
Nice. And you talked about how the prep level is very similar to the provincial AAA level that you're playing in now. So you were still able to obviously experience top level hockey at that age in 2018-19, the year before you joined the Avros. But would you say that it was playing there was beneficial in helping your development and getting to that next level in provincial AAA? And if it was beneficial in your development, how did it help you develop those other parts and just all the parts of your game?
I think it was beneficial to go there, even just for a year. Just the girls, the atmosphere in the dressing room, we're all very dedicated, whether or not it was for school or for hockey. We all had that motivation and just wanting to. We are all very focused. It was very serious, and yeah, just the atmosphere in the dressing room really affected, and it helped me out as an overall person because yeah.
Graeme Forsyth back here on season preview, this edition on Coffee with Graeme with Winnipeg Avros defenseman and assistant captain Rachel Gottfried. And Rachel had a huge season for the Avros last year. She led the team in assists. She won the team's top defenseman award. And we were talking to Rachel before we went to break about her career in hockey before joining the Avros, the experiences that she had moving all over the place, playing at St. Mary's Academy, their prep hockey team. They're playing for their prep hockey team. And we also talked about the commitment she made earlier on in the show to the University of Manitoba Bisons women's hockey team. So great opportunity for Rachel to take her career to the next level after this season with the Avros. But we're going to get into her time with the Avros last season and her expectations going into the 2020-2021 season. But before we do that, you've had a great career with Team Manitoba. And just looking at your resume, you were able to play for their program of excellence U16 team in 2017-18, and you were able to go to the Manitoba Winter Games that year and win a gold medal. So I know that this is a little while back now, but just take me through those experiences with the program of excellence team. I'm sure there was a lot of intense training that went into preparing for those winter games, and then moving on to win a gold medal when it was all said and done that season.
Yes, that was a great experience for the Manitoba Games. We had a very strong, solid team going into it. That was a great experience, and there was all strong teams we played against. We just happened to pull through with the gold, but yeah, it was a great experience going to play with such good girls on the ice and just battling hard, and it was an unreal experience.
And I'm sure that I know with the Avros, I've talked to Trinity and Courtney about it and actually spoken about how it's such a family culture with this team and there's a lot of accountability. But I'm sure with a team like Team Manitoba, when you're able to be a part of something like the program of excellence and you're working towards something in a shorter amount of time, I guess that's the way to put it. But being able to, battle through all that adversity and being able to win the gold in the end, I'm sure that you guys as a group, as a team that season really came together and, bought into all the systems that the coach was preaching. But how high was the accountability on that team?
We were it's pretty hard going into the game, especially because we're all from different teams. So not many of us have chemistry, but going into it, I'm quite surprised that we did come out with gold, because just none of the chemistry was there, because none of us played on the same team, and coaches run different styles, but we all adapted pretty well, and we wanted it more.
Awesome. So would you say that the chemistry, as, camp went along, as you guys got to know each other better, really started to click, and that's when you started to see something special in that team?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we all just adapted to each other's playing, and it worked out in the end.
Great. And I'm sure that that's a credit to the coaches' systems and their ability to put players out in those key moments and being able to make those right decisions of who to put together. I'm sure that you guys had such a great coaching staff, and that went into the gold medal win.
Yes, yeah, for sure. That was the coaches were a big factor in that.
Yeah, I'm sure. And how cool was it to know that, the pride of knowing that you're part of a team that's the best in the province with all these girls that you never thought you would have played with before in your life. I'm sure that was such a surreal experience for you.
Yes, it was a very unreal experience, unforgettable too. Just playing with those high level girls, it's I won't forget that. It was an honor playing there.
Awesome. And I know I'm drilling you on this, but it's such a cool experience, you being able to win a gold medal for your province. I mean, it's once again, it's any kid's dream growing up, being able to not only represent, obviously it's cool to represent your country as a whole, but being able to represent your province and being able to win a gold medal, that's so awesome. But just all the hard work that was put into, getting ready for the games and being able to receive that goal. I'm sure that that was such a great experience, and just the weight off your shoulders too was just being able to win the gold for your country, knowing that not your country but your province, knowing that all the hard work paid off.
Yeah, it was an unreal experience. Just the feeling of winning the gold for the province is just, I want to feel that again. And too bad we couldn't do that last year with the Avros, because of the season cutting off. But I hope to do it this year with 2021 to 2022 team.
Yeah, for sure. And just two more things before we move on, going into the Avers. But I noticed that you were a 14-year-old on that team, and one of the youngest. I think you were the youngest player on that squad. But just you had the size advantage in that tournament, and being given your age, being a 14-year-old going against 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds as well. I'm sure that your size was maybe one of your biggest advantages in that tournament.
Yes, it was. And but it was coming in as a 14-year-old. It was kind of scary, but that can't let it affect you, and you just kind of come out confident. And I can't back down, and I got to use my size to my advantage. So
Awesome. And just being able to share that moment of winning the gold with your family. I'm assuming that your family was there in attendance. Yeah.
yes, they were.
Watching it. Awesome. So being able to share that moment with your family, winning a gold for your province, being the best team in the province, I'm sure that there was so many emotions for you. And like you said, you want to feel that feeling again. So just being able to share it with your family at such a young age, being able to win the gold for your province, I'm sure that was such a surreal moment as well.
Yes, it was very unforgettable, and I hope to do it again someday.
Awesome. So we're gonna move in to your time with the Avers now, Rachel, and just your regular season last year. 34 points as a rookie coming in, led the team in team defense, like among defensemen in points, led the team with 26 assists. And just you talked about how your style of game is you're a very good two-way player, but would you say that your style of game from when you were a bantam player till until the year last year has changed, or has your style remained the same?
I think it has changed. Back in bantam, like I said before, I was more of a stay-home defenseman. But because I got that opportunity in bantam, my second or third year playing up as a forward, it's just brought me to be a better player, as being more an offensive defenseman and just being an overall player, just seeing the perspective of both positions has really helped me to this day. And especially at this high level AAA league, it has helped me a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And, Ashley said that she utilized your two-way ability and used you as a swing player. And a quote from her was being that you're a great swing player. She can use both your defensive ability and offensive ability to her advantage. So, just for a coach like Ashley Van Aggelen to be able to trust you and use you in those situations, I'm sure that was such a big boost for your confidence, and it really helped not only your defensive game but your offensive game as well.
Yes, for sure. And she has also helped me to be a better player, because if it wasn't for her to give me that opportunity to play forward, I wouldn't be able to. It'd be harder for me to see the ice, compared to sitting back being defense, but also to be forward and see and jump up in the play and help create goals. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things that she also said about you is that your ability to transition the game, being able to break out of your own end and find players with your passes, I think that that goes into your playmaking ability. And just it was on full display last year with 26 assists. But would you say that your playmaking ability stems the most from your IQ and just your great hockey background as well? Because she hinted that you do come from a rich history of, great hockey talent.
Yes, I do. My grandpa played in the NHL, and my brother plays in the WHL at the moment. And
Amazing. Yeah.
so I think also that has helped for my IQ. For it just sometimes comes naturally, and just also playing hockey for so long,
Yeah.
just naturally.
Yeah. Who was your grandpa? He played in the NHL, you said?
Yes, his name was Elvin Brian McDonald, also known as Ab McDonald. He played for the Winnipeg Jets.
Awesome. That's so surreal. That's so awesome to know that, you have someone that played at the highest level of hockey. That's really awesome to I didn't know about that you had a grandpa that played in the NHL. That's sweet. Have you been like how cool was it finding out that your grandpa played in the NHL?
It was very cool. I've always looked up to him, and he would come support me to every single game, and I'd always just look forward at the end of the game to talk to him and for him to help me out of my advice, give me advice to make me a better player. But yeah, he's my mentor. I've always looked up to him, and
That's sweet. That's sweet. And so just going back to you with the Avers now, you have that great two-way ability, your playmaking is there too, you got the IQ. But would you say that being able to have that IQ, that high IQ of passing has been able to help you so much in your own end and finding, not looking for the complicated plays, but looking for the simple plays as well, and that's helped your team break out?
yes, I think it helps, because rather than throwing it away and giving it to the other team, is just making that simple play. You don't always have to make that complicated play, just that simple play just to get out of the zone.
Yeah.
Really helps just to get more zone time in their end.
That's great. And just talking about your defensive game strictly, you're got the advantage with your size, but you're able to use your stick to your advantage as well. I've heard that you got a very good stick. You use it very well paired with the big body, which is such an advantage for you. But your speed is also an underrated aspect of your game as well. So how do you think it's been, being able to use all those things together? Is it something that you've kind of had some time getting used to, or have you always, used your big size paired with the stick, and then now you've added in your skating ability with the speed too?
Yes, I have. Exactly.
Yeah.
I've always just use my size as my advantage. And over the years, I've been trying to work on my gap with with my stick as well, and also my speed when transitioning at the right time. And because it's very hard, because there's some very fast girls in the league, so you got to know when to transition, when to take it away. So yeah.
Yeah, and your gap control, from the sounds of it, is fantastic. You've had the chance to shut down some of the best players in the game with your excellent gap ability, being able to control the gap, which is such a key if you're a defenseman. But is there something that you practice to, improve and keeping that gap, or is it something that comes natural?
It comes natural, but you also just have to adapt. You have to know, just playing against these girls over and over again in the league, you get to know who's faster than others. So I just kind of adapt to knowing if I need to transition faster than I should, or if I need to have a tighter gap, because you try to adapt to know if they're going to shoot it or not, because once you play against them multiple times, you get to know them as a player and know if they're a passer or they like to shoot more. So then you got to have a tight gap, or you got to give them more space.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Great. And just from your skating ability to your playmaking ability to your two-way ability to using your size to your advantage, it seems like you got the complete package as a defenseman. But I will say that maybe there's one thing that you want to work on this season is maybe your penalties. And you did take a lot of penalties in your first year, 105 penalty minutes, but were they more penalties to, eliminate scoring chances, or were they just you getting lazy with your stick and your positioning, or was it just a bit of bad luck taking those so many penalties?
Most of my penalties were for body checking or like that, and it didn't take away from the game, because I think that a lot of my players on my team, we're a very aggressive team, and that we got penalties so often that our penalty kill was just so strong, and we could just fight it for the 2 minutes, and yeah.
So no, that's okay, but it went into the confidence and the trust you had with your team, as if you're thinking, if I take a penalty, I got a great team behind me and in front of me to get out of it for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, great. So we're going to move into the season that you had last year with the Avros, the learning experiences that you took out of it. And we're also going to, after that, move into the season that you're expecting to have for not only yourself, but the expectations you have for teammates and what the expectation is for the team heading into this season coming up, as we continue to preview the Avros season here on Amateur Sports TV. But I'm Graeme Forsyth, host of Season Preview on Coffee with Graeme, joined by Winnipeg Avros defenseman and assistant captain Rachel Gottfried. We're going to go to our second commercial break in the show. We're going to hear from our lovely sponsors here that have decided to sponsor today's show, and we'll be back in just a moment with Rachel Gottfried, defenseman and assistant captain of the Winnipeg Avros. And Graeme Forsyth back here with Rachel Gottfried on this edition of Season Preview. Rachel, a returning defenseman for the Winnipeg Avros, also an assistant captain, and she's coming off a season where she not only got a MFHL first team All-Star nomination, but she also got the Winnipeg Avros Team Defenseman Award, Top Defenseman Award. Congratulations on those awards. We're going to get into that in a little bit on the show here, but we're going to start off with talking about just the team in general last season and the regular season that you guys had dominance throughout the whole regular season. There was only one part of the season where you guys really struggled, and that was leading up to the World Sports School Challenge tournament. But other than that, you guys were a model of consistency all season, had 2 big winning streaks. And when you're able to get that consistency with those winning streaks, I'm sure you've had you had a 7-game winning streak and an 8-game winning streak as well. But I'm sure that it builds so much confidence for not only the whole team, but for you coming in as a first-year player.
Coming into it, yes, it gave us and the team confidence, but going into every game, you can't just be confident thinking that, oh, like their last place in the league, that like, oh, we're like, we got this. Like, you got to come in mentally that we've never seen them play before. We have to play like we're not going to play tomorrow, or it's like a playoff game. You just got to come in mentally, and which we did mostly every game. A lot of the girls were dedicated, and that just, and the atmosphere in the room, there was no drama. It was just, it made us such a close team, and just because we were so close, it just made us great on the ice, which really helped out. And just coming together with that, just being so close as a team just helps out on the ice, and just the motivation and the determination that we had as a team together just made us come out with wins.
Awesome. And yeah, just the accountability, the trust that you had in your team. I know that it's been highlighted throughout our coverage so far on your team that it was mainly about that family vibe that you guys had, the accountability along with the trust that really, made you guys want to play for each other and get that win for each other. And just talking about your spot in the lineup, I know that Ashley said that there were parts in the season where you would go to forward, but there were, you play defense for, the good chunk of the season. But were you playing in one of the top roles at the very start of the season as defenseman, or was that was the time when you were at forward at the very start?
At the beginning of the start of the season, I was defense, and when girls got hurt or couldn't make it as a forward, I would jump up. Or at the end of a game, if we're tied and there's 2 minutes left in the game, Ash will throw me out in forward to whether or not to shoot it on net, get the rebound, or to block and screen the goalie because of my big body. So yeah.
And we talked about it earlier, how Ashley, helped you become a better player, being able to have that trust in you and the confidence in you to go up as a forward, but just being able to go out in those big moments. And she's the one who picked you to go out in those big moments and really step in and fill in for players who were injured and out of the lineup. I'm sure that was so huge for your confidence.
Yes, it was. It helps me. Yeah, like I said, it helps me as an overall player, and just
Yeah, for sure. And just talking about how the decor last year, and you guys have 5 returning players coming in on the defense, being able to work with this group last year and being able to bond with them, I'm sure that it's helped your chemistry not only in the D zone with breakouts, but in the offensive zone as well, being able to have a year of bonding with them going into this year as well.
Yeah, for sure. It does help to have to know each other and have chemistry. And my defense partner, Madison Smith, I played with her for spring hockey as well. So we've already had chemistry before coming onto the Avros. So just having that chemistry, that like there's the 5 of us there, it's a lot easier that we all know how like we each other play and just adapting to each other. It really helps with having chemistry, and having 5D come back up this year. It really helps.
Yeah, for sure. And just you're coming back along with Kylie Johnson, Maggie McCanney, Madison Smith, as well, and as well as Kyler McLeod. So, for you guys to be able to, get the experience and go through all of the, mostly the ups last year, but going through those moments where maybe you face that adversity, I'm sure that it built the experience for your decor quite a bit, going through all those moments and learning from those experiences.
Sorry, what was the question?
Okay, so we're gonna move on from that. We're gonna move on to the tournaments that you guys had, and one in particular, the World Sports School Challenge, and it was a tournament that you guys went into, coming in 1-3. One of the worst stretches of your season coming in, but you were able to go into this World Sports School Challenge tournament where you're going up against teams from Alberta, BC, Ontario. There was teams from Manitoba as well, like you guys, the Ice, and the St. Mary's Academy prep team, and a team from Minnesota as well. But being able to make it to the Final Four in a tournament like that, when you guys were kind of struggling coming in, maybe not playing your usual game, and you're able to make it to the Final Four against, top teams from all across the country, and even a team from the States, I'm sure that was so huge for you guys' confidence as well.
Yeah, for sure. And especially not knowing their teams, their play, and just a brand, not knowing their play is also hard for us to adapt as we play against the same teams in our league, but not knowing how they roll their power plays or PKs as an Alberta team, because we've never played against them before, really just helped us just going in, just mentally going into it just with a fresh start and just playing our hardest. So yeah, but obviously we didn't come out with a W, because I don't think we were mentally in it for the last game. But
yeah, and I think that definitely you guys learned from the tournament there that you got to be mentally tough in those big moments, and that really helped you guys in the playoffs as well, I'm assuming.
Yeah, for sure, it did help us in the playoffs, just wanting that. We were all the determination we had. We all just wanted to win it, and I thought we could be successful, but unfortunately it did get cut off. But
Yeah, for sure. And before we move into the playoffs that you guys had, you talked about earlier how on the St. Mary's Academy prep team, how you were able to experience playing against teams from, all over North America, being in the States and in Canada as well. But would you say that they gave you a slight advantage coming into a tournament like this, being able to have those experiences under your belt already?
Yes and no, because I haven't played against those teams before, but I knew what to expect, as it was going to be different to adapt to it. But so yes and no.
So you were used to the different team styles. You generally knew what they would be like, but you weren't used to, them at the same time, because you haven't played those particular players before.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. And you were able to, even though you guys weren't able to come up with a medal in that tournament, for you had such a great individual tournament, being able to win the World Sports School Challenge Top Defenceman award in that tournament. Just for you in this tournament, were there parts of your game that you found hit their stride the most that maybe weren't, were close to breaking out before the tournament started, but really hit their stride once that tournament got going and once the tournament ended?
Yeah, I was very excited for the tournament, especially because I played on St. Mary's the 2 years ago, and just going into it, I just really wanted to prove that we could win it, and that was the same thought all my teammates had and my coach had, and just going into it, mentally and physically just ready to play and just giving it my all. And I was just played my heart out just to play against my old teammates as well, and just playing against new teams there as well is just, yeah.
Great. And were you surprised to get the award, or is it something that you expected, or did it come as a shock to you being able to get that award?
I was surprised. I was, but also I did play my heart out. So I was very happy that I got it. But yeah, I was very surprised that I did get it.
Yeah, but it added to your confidence being able to know that you can play that hard and come away with a great achievement for sure. Great. So moving into the playoffs, you guys had a heck of a playoff run last year, sweeping Interlake in that first round and then being able to beat a very, very good Westman team that beat the Avros in the final the year before. You guys were able to beat them 4-1 3-1 in the series to set up a matchup with the Winnipeg Ice. Obviously, it didn't happen due to COVID-19 canceling the remainder of the season, and I'm sure that was so heartbreaking for you personally, and I know it was heartbreaking for Trinity and Courtney and for all the other girls on the team, especially the veterans. But before we get into that, just the experience that you gained throughout a long playoff run like this, I'm sure that you played in a lot of big moments, but the experience that you gained, how can you describe that experience?
Because are you asking because of COVID?
Oh, the experience of the playoff run that you guys had.
Yeah. Well, we came into it but the whole year we all had the determination to just win. We all had the motivation to, and just basically every game we played out of the year playing like we did in playoffs. And in playoffs, we just came out and we were all just mentally ready and physically ready, and just we wanted to put the puck in the back of the net, which we did, and we all wanted it. We want it for the team, ourselves, our coaches.
Yeah, awesome. And just preparation, I know Ashley talked about it, especially going into that big series with the Westman Wildcats, was the extra preparation within the team. But for you, were there things that you did on your own to get, mentally and physically prepared for that playoff run?
I have rituals that I do before games, especially playoffs, just with my team or by myself, whether or not by myself at home, just to be, just to get mentally into it before the games, like whether or not it's like listening to music by myself and thinking of 5 important steps I need to do during the game, whether or not it's make sure my gap control is good, making sure that I come out of the puck, come out of the corners with the puck, or if it's at one-on-one, and my stick, and shooting it on the ice, just creating goals.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's great to be able to have those rituals, and you really focused in on them for sure. And you weren't able to put up a crazy amount of points in these playoffs. You only put up 3 points in 7 games, but I'm sure that your defensive ability in your zone, walking down players, keeping that gap control like we were talking about earlier, using your stick, your body to your advantage, was at an all-time high in the playoffs. And just a question that I've been wanting to know is that, would you say that being able to do those things against the top players in the league, as Westman was one of the top teams in the league, being able to do that consistently, being able to, be counted on to be able to shut down those top players, I'm sure that, we talked about it so much like in this episode already, and how there's so many things that have boosted your confidence, but would you say that was the cherry on top and boosting your confidence, being able to do that against those players?
Yes, it did help, and being relied on also. It is a lot of pressure, but it helps me be more confident, and just playing against these better teams like Westman. It just helps you as an overall player, just playing against better girls. Just makes you want to work harder and just makes you a better player. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And just, yeah, moving into that final series that you guys had with the Winnipeg Ice that didn't end up happening due to COVID-19, the cancellation due to that. It would have been a good one, I think, Rachel. Two top teams going in. I know that Trinity and Courtney and Ashley said that they weren't going to take this Winnipeg Ice team lightly. I'm sure that you guys had a mindset coming in that the job wasn't done after beating Westman, but they've talked about their experiences already. Courtney and Trinity did, and Ashley spoke about how she felt the players felt too. But what was your personal feeling going, not being able to finish the playoffs due to this virus that no one even saw coming?
It was pretty frustrating because, like I said before, just even just being in the provincial finals is just such an exciting feeling. And the fact that we didn't get to do that was pretty frustrating. But I'm excited for this upcoming season and hopefully to make it to the provincials because we couldn't last year. And I know all the vets agree with me, and I hope all the rookies are on board too.
You won the Winnipeg Avros Top Defensive Player Award, and you were also awarded the MFHL First Team All-Star appearance, being able to be named to that squad. So just, even though the season didn't end on a complete high note for you, not being able to finish it off in the finals against the Winnipeg Ice, not having a chance to. I'm sure that being able to win the Avros Top Defensive Player Award, along with getting named an MFHL First Team All-Star, was pretty sweet as well.
That was that also came as a surprise to me. I wasn't expecting either of those, and it was pretty exciting that I got that.
Awesome. And the feeling you had when you got nominated, or not even nominated, but named the Avros Top Defensive Player Award, I'm sure that there was loads of emotion going through you when you got that award.
Yes, I was pretty excited.
Awesome. And do you remember who told you the news of of how you got the award, or was it, did Ashley tell you got the award, or did you find out from parents, or did you get a text message or something?
Well, we had a team banquet at one of the goalies' houses, and we were just doing awards, and they said top defenseman, and they said my name, and I didn't know they had even that award, so it came to a complete shock for me.
That's great. And as a first-year player on the Avros too, I'm sure that, you expected to be in the running for that award. If the award, you said that you didn't even know the award existed, but that's pretty sweet that you got that award in your first year. And just talking about going into this year, the 2020-2021 season with the Winnipeg Avros, you are one of the team's assistant captains, and you're probably going to be taking on an even bigger role this year. Would you say that you're ready to take on that potential bigger role?
I think I am, and I'm excited because it's just being confident and having that pressure on you. It's going to help me every year and help me for U of M next year. So it is a lot of pressure, but overall, it's going to help me.
Great. And just my mouse decided not to work anymore, so that's great. But just talking about your decor this year, and you got players like Smith returning to the decor this season. You got players like Kylie Johnson. You got players like Maggie Matani, players like Kyler McLeod as well. And you got only one new defenseman coming in, and you talked about how you guys bonded so much as a decor last year. But how excited are you to get going with virtually the same group and just adding one new defenseman to it? I'm sure that you guys are excited to improve your chemistry on the ice as well as furthering your development as Winnipeg Avros as well.
Yeah. Play with them again, and the chemistry is super nice just to have, and only one new defenseman, and I think she's going to fit in very well. Looking at the practices, we look pretty strong as a defense core, and yeah, I'm excited to start the season.
Awesome. And you guys got 2 new goalies coming in this year, 2 rookies. I'm not even going to try to pronounce Yanina's last name because I know that no one can really pronounce it. I don't want to disrespect the last name, but you got Yanina and Jenna Gertson coming in, 2 new goalies, and they got big shoes to fill. But I've heard a lot of good things from Ashley saying that, Jenna is a bigger goalie and she can move the puck well. And then Yanina can basically do the same thing, and she's a bit smaller and she's athletic. But how have they look so far throughout, training camp and these practices?
I'm pretty excited. I have some good confidence in them. They look pretty good. They're pretty confident, which is important for a goalie, especially to come out of their net to stop pucks like that. Their confidence is very important, and they look like they have lots of confidence in practice, which is very important. And so I'm pretty excited to have them.
Yeah, and I'm sure, both of them being able to move the puck, it's like having an extra defenseman back there. How much, pressure is that going to take off the D-core, in your opinion, with those 2 goalies being able to showcase that ability and basically adding an extra player in your zone?
Yeah, exactly. It's they do have big shoes to fill from Jordan McCow, but I have some confidence in them with they're showing that they look like they have confidence, and I'm just excited to see them in games.
Yeah, and just talking about your team, how it was such a tight-knit group last year, and just how it was the accountability was at an all-time high for you guys last year, and just it was a family culture. Would you say that this team has the potential to have those same aspects of that family culture, of that accountability so far?
Yes, for sure. We do, and I'm excited to start games with them. And it's too bad that we can't stay overnight or go away to showcases right now because of COVID, because that is where we bond with the girls and just get close with each other. And it just, as we get close off the ice, it just creates chemistry on the ice. But I think we're already pretty close already. No one's really shy on the team, and I think we're already starting to look like a family. It's the beginning of the season. So, yeah.
Awesome. It's sweet. And, one thing that I've noticed throughout all these interviews, and I know that when we used to do the show Coffee with Graeme, I wouldn't have the table in the background. I'd have, like, in the forefront, I'd have my camera way farther up so I could see, like, the background so nicely, but it's hard for me to see sometimes. And I've noticed that Ashley had it on, Courtney and Trinity had it on, and you have it on too as your Avros gear, your Avros sweaters. So, the sense of pride that you have, and the community that, the atmosphere that you guys have built up, not only last year, but you guys are building up this year, wearing, Avros wear off the ice. It's like Avros is the first priority. Do you think that's going to rub off? You think that's rubbing off pretty quickly on these players so far, knowing that, this is the standard, the older players are doing this, so I got to buy into this as well.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm proud to wear the logo, and so are the vets, and I think the rookies will too.
Awesome. And just your expectations for you personally going into this season. I know that last year you achieved so much, being able to be a part of a team that made it to the finals in your first year as an Avro, and you being able to win the Avros Top Defensive Award, the Top Defenseman Award, the Avros, being able to lead the team defenseman in points and as well as leading the team in assists, and just being able to get an MFHL first team all-star nomination is something that's so amazing as well in your first year as a player in the league. But are there any new expectations for you this year? Would you say that the championship is probably the biggest, expectation you have for this group?
Yeah, probably the championship personally is my biggest focus, and also just improving everything else of mine just to keep up that level and be ready for university next year to play with U of M, because I want to keep up my cardio and my work ethic, and I can't slack on that stuff. So just every day I just got to make sure I keep on training, and which is going to help me help the team be successful in the provincials, and also personally help me for next year.
Yeah, that's great. And one thing that I haven't brought up yet, I know that Ashley said it, but I didn't ask Trinity and Courtney about it, was the team photos you guys had this year. And it was you guys were all wearing masks, and it's a picture I'm looking at right now, and it's something that I never thought I'd see a group of players wearing masks in a team picture. So how weird was that experience wearing, a mask for your team pictures this year?
It was pretty weird, but honestly, it's kind of cool, and a couple of years to look back and know that we experienced this whole worldwide pandemic and we had to wear masks to take team pictures. It's weird and frustrating that we almost didn't have a season this year and we couldn't finish off last year, but it's also pretty unique and cool to the fact that we did take pictures with masks on.
Yeah, that's something that I personally thought I'd never see. It must have been very cool, like you said, to experience it, and it's something that you're gonna look back on, and maybe next year or in a couple of years or maybe in a few years as well, and say that was cool. We were a part of that and we were able to do that. But just moving into your season, the start of your season with the Avros this year, you guys going in against a team like Eastman, a team with so much skill. I'm not sure if you're going to be the same team, have the same players as they did last year, how many returning players they got coming up. But how excited are you to get your season rolling against a team that's a respected competitor like the Eastman Selects?
Personally, I'm very excited. I've been waiting for the league to be approved for us to play. I'm so pumped, and I know my whole team is too. We're super excited to play, and I think that's also knowing that we had to wait to see if we were going to get approved or not. I think we're also going to just come out strong because we're just so excited to play. So I'm looking forward to it.
And that was number 4 for the Winnipeg Avros, Rachel Gottfried, joining me on today's edition of Season Preview on Coffee with Graeme. I've been your host, Graeme Forsyth, and in today's edition of Season Preview, it is our last edition covering the Winnipeg Avros here heading into the 2020-2021 MFHL season. And for the past 3 weeks, I've had a chance to really get to know what makes this team tick, and I think that it's 2 things in particular: the family culture and the accountability. And that just goes into the environment, actually, as a whole, that Ashley Van Aggelen and her coaching staff have built up throughout her tenure as Winnipeg Avros coach. And it's all starts with the environment that these players are put in, the systems that they're put in that really appeals to their playing styles. And I think that the accountability along with the family culture makes this team, like they've said, want to play for each other so much, and they want it just that much more. So I think that these returning players this year are going to use what they learned from last year, not being able to get the job done because the finals against the Winnipeg Ice, a Winnipeg rival that the Avros would have been going up against, it got canceled due to the coronavirus coming here and putting the whole world and just everyone in Canada and just sports and amateur sports in Canada on standstill, and they weren't able to finish the finals, and the Avros, even though they got the co-championship award, weren't able to finish it off like they wanted to. And I think that these returning players, all 8 of them, are going to use what they learned last year and really put that into practice this year and have a season to remember for the Winnipeg Avros. And I think that the new players they got coming in are going to feed off that energy and are going to excel. And I think that this Avros team is, if they put it all together, if those returning players can get those new players to buy into the family culture and the accountability that they have within the team, this Avros team is going to be pretty scary to play. But that's enough of me rambling on. That's going to do it for our finale of the Winnipeg Avros here on Season Preview. I've been your host of Coffee with Graeme Season Preview, Graeme Forsyth. But before I let you go, other than this show, which airs every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 10:30 a.m., there's a list right here of other shows that you guys should be sure to check out on the network if you haven't already. So starting off with the man Theo Tukuluk. He's got a show called On the Ice. It's On the Ice with Theo Tukuluk every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. We got Between the Pipes with Mahith Gamaj on Wednesdays. We got the Sask Sports Show with J.D. Hodden, which the first episode just dropped this week, so check it out. All over our platforms on actually just YouTube and Facebook at Amateur Sports TV to watch that. But if you want a break from amateur sports coverage on Amateur Sports TV as well, we can give it to you. We got Pro Sports Coverage, a new show that just dropped a while ago here on the network. It's fairly new, but it's rolling along pretty nicely. It is Crunch Time with the Boys weekdays at 9 p.m. So if you want to check out some of our pro sports opinions and coverage, you should be sure to check out Crunch Time with the Boys weekdays at 9 p.m. And then just watch out for all these other great shows we got coming to the network as well. We got the new Prospect Show, the Rookie Show, World Softball TV, and the International Hockey Academy Show. So many great shows for you guys to check out. You can check all those out at Amateur Sports TV on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Our episodes mainly drop on YouTube and Facebook. But yeah, be sure to check out those shows. There's some great options for you guys, and I'm sure you will enjoy them all. And once again, I've been your host of Coffee with Graeme Season Preview, Graeme Forsyth, signing off. Until next time, I'll see you guys again. Stay safe out there. Have a good one. I'll salute to you, but before you go, remember, grab your cup of joe, sit back, and enjoy the show. I'll see you next time, folks. Have a good one.